righteous, but God will deliver them out of them all. Now let me tell you, people of God, the reason why some of y'all sitting there looking so blessed and you really on the inside is distressed and bleeding and you feel like really giving up, the reason why some of you look blessed as you are is because you took a faith to come in here this morning. When you could have done else, you said, I got to make it to the house of the Lord. For a fine example, last week it was cold. Somebody made a statement, I'm going back home, but when they stayed and came in, the presence of the Lord fell down because they had the right attitude. Somebody shout glory. Because of most folk attitude, and then let me tell you, it dictates who they are. Have anybody ever seen someone that you just know, oh, she looks so sweet and nice, and you went over to them and you said, how you do? Hi. It was because of her affliction we built up a wall. So when God tries to bless you again, because of the wall, he can't get through. It was because of your affliction. So some of us have walls built up here, sitting in church today. You're hurt, broken, disgusted, and busted, and you don't even want to try God. But God said, when you step back and let go. Tell somebody that wall must come down. One thing that Patti LaBelle said at one of her hearings some time ago about it, when she wrote the song, I Got a New Attitude. Amen. She laid in bed and she discovered she cannot make it without God. I don't care how you are going through. You can get mad and walk away from God, but we need God in a time like this. Most people don't come to church for a long time, and when they come, they sit and acting like God owes them something. Oh, but you want to just forget about what's going on and clap your hands and shout, I'm coming out of this. I'm getting ready to get out of here, y'all. But when you have a new attitude, the very person that hurt you in that relationship, the very person that scandalized your name, the very person that said that you would never make it or you never amount to anything, amen, you can go back to that person and say, God bless you. Matter of fact, how you like me now? Look at somebody, say, how you like me now? What happened is I got a new attitude. My attitude is, if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. But I need something from God, and I cannot cause nobody, no thing, no devil to make me miss what God has for me. Somebody say, what God has for me, it is for me. Because of folk attitude, they blaspheme God.
Oh, yes, they do.
They blasphemed and said, I told you it wasn't a God. What's happening today? There's so many other gods. You got Buddha. You got folk worshiping a head of cabbage. Elder Coop, somebody at my job came in and said, I want to show you something. When I first started in state school, went out there, went to the car, there was a head of cabbage. And you know, I'm very outspoken. You got to pray for me when we get done, Elder Coop. I looked at that head of cabbage and said, this is my God. Since I had this cabbage, things been happening right. You know what I said? Get me a pot with some cabbage and onions, and let me put that cabbage in a pot of water and smother it down. Because the God that I serve, oh, somebody talk back to me, y'all. The God that I serve sits up high and he looks down low. Somebody say, preach, black man, preach. I want to show that person that's the best God cabbage I ate in a long time. But because of these other gods, Buddha, and you got Muslim, I'm not knocking them. You got to know who you are in God. You got to know that I have a the way. It will cause envy to go. It will cause jealousness to get out of here. It will cause cheating to move